And when that war ended, after those soldiers had fought, the Reconstruction Amendments that were passed after the war, in the 5 years after the war, the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery, the 14th Amendment granting citizenship to slaves, and the 15th Amendment granting voting rights, guaranteeing voting rights, purged slavery from the Constitution. The short, simple promise in the 14th Amendment of the equal protection of the laws put the weight of the Constitution behind the rights of every citizen. It was a way of making that provision in the Declaration of Independence real. Unfortunately, the old enemy that had accompanied slavery, racism, caused federal and state governments to evade the Reconstruction Amendments, to deny people voting rights, to deny people equal rights. It allowed racial segregation and discrimination to grow in the first half of the 20th century. Rather than give up the country in despair, because that's what some voices in the African American community urged African Americans to do, they didn't. They remained committed and determined to achieve their full rights as American citizens. As W.E.B. Du Bois said, a great black scholar who was the first African American to receive a PhD from Harvard University, in the late 1890s, after spending 2 months in a rural county in Virginia, he said, "There is not a single black person that lives here that does not expect that one day they will have their full rights as American citizens." So rather than rejecting the country, rather than turning in despair, they organized protest groups to fight for their rights, to make the promise of the Declaration as brought forth in the 14th Amendment. They formed groups such as the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, in 1909.